Alright guys, we're back with another 5 years into the future of Scottish football, and the next team we're going to be covering in this series is Celtic Football Club. Founded in 1888, nicknamed the Boys. We know all that. What we want to know is, how have Celtic did 5 years into the future in Scottish football? Now, the league's probably not a fucking massive mystery. I think we all know that more likely than not, Celtic are going to have won the league here for 5 years on the trot. The main question is, how will they have done in Europe? Will Brendan Rodgers finally be the man to take Celtic to the next step in European competition? Or has Brendan Rodgers been replaced? Have Celtic got someone else in? Or have Celtic fucking, I don't know, done a Rangers and went all the way back to League 2? We don't know, but we're about to find out right now. So let's check out how they got on in their first season. So we can see Celtic were very busy in their first year. They didn't do anything until January, but once January came along with that, 14.25 million spent. 4.2 million on Hearts' John Souttar alone. Crazy. Brought in Robin Olsen for 1.6, brought in Gustavo Gomez for 4 million, and brought in, is that Porto? I think that's, no, I don't know if that's Porto. I think it is Musa McGregor. Absolutely crazy there. Well, they loaned out a bunch of young players like Liam Henderson, Joe Thompson, Abue, Daniel Church, Calvin Miller. Did they sell anybody though? They sell Derek Boyata to Derby and Johnny Hay. Holy shit, they got 2.6 million, potentially rising to 3.2 for Johnny Hayes. That's very good business considering he doesn't even start for them. Anyway, there's the signings, and with those signings, I think it's hard to believe that anybody in the SPL is going to challenge Celtic. I mean, without those signings, Celtic look pretty much unchallengeable, but I mean, adding those players to the team, I can only see one-way traffic in the league. Let's find out what happened. And there you can go. To no surprise, Celtic finished top of the league, a staggering 33 points in front of their nearest rivals, Rangers. So Celtic completely blown away the opposition in the league. No contest. They won 33 games out of 38. Drew 3 and lost 2. I mean, that's almost as good as Brendan Rodgers' first season in real life. He won 34 and drew 4. But I mean, that's pretty damn fucking close. Anytime you get anywhere near 100 points, man, you've had a spectacular season. And this season was no different for Celtic. Amazing stuff here. But let's see how they got on in the Cups, and let's see how they got on in Europe. So we can see they got teams in the earlier rounds of the Champions Cup qualifying stages, such as Dudelange, Rijeka, and they got past all those teams without any difficulty. In the playoff stage, they got Malmo. Malmo, yeah, definitely a higher opposition than the teams previous played. It's definitely a step up. In the away ties here, they got a 1-1 draw, and then at Parkhead, they finished them off with a 3-0 convincing win to move into the Champions League group stages. So far, so good for Brendan Rodgers. First game against Shakhtar, they actually won it at home, Celtic Park, so good start to the Champions League. 2-1 win against Shakhtar, 3 points on the board. Second game, fucking hell, they got humped off Barcelona in the Nou Camp, 4-0. Already this looks like a tough group. Kind of will depend on the third team to see if they go through or not, but yeah man, Barcelona in your group, you never want that. Who else did they get? Anderlecht, so I said tough group, but I mean, you'd probably take that, Barcelona, Shakhtar, Anderlecht. I think you'd take that if you're a Celtic fan. I mean, it's better than getting PSG and Bayern Munich in your group. And they got a 2-1 home win against Anderlecht. So three games played, 6 points on the board. Celtic taking advantage of their home games. Looks like they could potentially get out of the Champions League group stage here in the first season. Beat Rangers 2-1 in the Betfred Cup semi-final to move into the final. Beat Anderlecht away, and that almost guarantees their passage into the knockout stages of the Champions League. Then a draw away against Shakhtar, I'm pretty sure that seals it. Betfred Cup final. They won the Betfred Cup in their first year, so Brendan Rodgers already secured the league. He secured the Betfred Cup. It looks like he's going to get Celtic into the knockout stages of the Champions League. If not, they're going to be guaranteed third and drop into Europa. And then they're still in the Scottish Cup. So far, man, this has been a fucking fabulous season here for Celtic. Lost their final game against Barcelona, as to be expected, but I do think that will be enough to get them through. Beat Inverness in the Scottish Cup 4th round. Beat Rangers again in the Scottish Cup 5th round. making a habit of beating Celtic. So yes, they did qualify for the knockout stages of the Champions League. Bad news is, though, they got PSG. Although, at Celtic Park, first tie, it was a draw. So, I mean, they've got a good chance here going into the second leg. They got a draw in the Scottish Cup quarter-final. Oh no, I went to Paris, they got absolutely smashed. Look at that, 4-0. So Celtic's journey in Europe has ended in the last 16 of the Champions League, but that's impressive for their first season. I think that's very good. Obviously, that will help the Scottish coefficient. And yeah, man, I think it's been a great season for Celtic, and they're still in the Scottish Cup as well. They beat Partick Thistle in the replay, beat Dundee in the semi-final. Fucking hell, they beat every team in the top 6 split. And then they beat Motherwell in the Scottish Cup final. So there you go. Brendan Rodgers completes the treble in his first season and gets to the last 16 in the Champions League. That's fucking fantastic, man. Even if he has a tranny, you got to give him credit, you know what I mean? Fuck. So there you go. That is the first season done for Celtic. Very successful. Can they possibly match that in the second season? I doubt it, because simply that was such a good season. It'll be hard to see the standards not drop. Kind of like in real life, you know. Brendan Rodgers had a really good first season, and this season he still had a good season, but just because it's been nowhere near the first season, I think people are saying that, you know, his form's been dipped, it's been found out. But I mean, if you set the bar high, it's hard to maintain it. Look at Arsenal and Arsene Wenger, the Invincibles. He set the bar fucking to the highest point he could, and then ever since then he's gradually dropped, and now there's no fucking bar left because Arsenal are pish. But anyway, let's move on to Celtic's second season. Okay, second season, the transfers. Now, Celtic have been busy. Yes, they've made some good signings, but they've sold 58 million worth of players, and fucking hell, I guess that is the downside of having such a great season last year. We'll cover who they've sold in a minute. Let's cover who they've brought in. But straight away, man, I'm almost willing to bet my life that Celtic are not going to have as good a season as they did last year, just based on the players that they've sold. Anyway, they brought in Ron Flahr for AZ. Bashila for Monaco, Dominic Lafashenko for Dynamo. They brought in Alex Tunabo on loan for Man United, Martin Linz for Galatasaray, Thomas Rincon for Juventus, Jack Wilshere on a free transfer. Looks like Arsenal let his contract run down, which is stupid, and Steven Berguis from Feyenoord. 12.25 million, very good. But this is what was not good. Let's move on to the players that they've sold. Callum McGregor for over 5 million to America. They've loaned out Liam Henderson, Jimmy McCarr, sold Christian Gamboa. Tom Rogic went for possibly 15 million to Ajax. Stuart Armstrong going for possibly 16.25 million to Sporting. Jozo Simunovic going to Zenit for 3.2 million, possibly rising to 5.2. Who else? A bunch of loan players here. So many players out on loan. Moussa Dembele, 26.5 million to Spartak Moscow. They just brought Ron Flahr in and have already sold him off 1.2 million to Krasnodar. Fucking hell, this is unbelievable stuff here. They've loaned out Ewan Henderson, they've loaned out Ibue, loaned out Nadir Shifshi. I'm just looking at that, man, and there's just no way Celtic can, you know, match the high standards that they set last year based on who they've lost. That is fucking shocking there, man. More or less half the first team's gone. So, we don't know whether that was... I doubt it would be Brendan Rodgers' decision. Is it the Celtic board deciding to cash in while they've had such a good season? I'm assuming that's what it was. Let's check out how they did in this second year, but I'm willing to guarantee it was nowhere near as good as the first one. So there you see, Celtic have won the league again. 13 points less so than they did by last year, and also only 7 points in front of Rangers. So last season, they had a 33 point gap over their rivals. This season it's been cut down to 7, and that's got to be down to just mostly due to the lack of players that they've sold. That's absolutely shocking. I still expected them to win the league, obviously, but I do not expect them to do the fucking treble or get anywhere near where they did in Europe last season. Let's go check. So here we see Champions Cup quality leg 1. So it looks like they're starting leg 1 this year. So I think Scottish foot coefficient must have actually went down from like the year it was. We've actually went down a few places, but I think next season when you add on where Celtic got, you know, in the Champions League, I think it will go up. But for this season it's went down because last season Celtic came in at round 2. This year they're coming in at round 1. Anyway, convincingly beat TNS 10-0 in aggregate. Then they beat Sherinsky. and then they beat Selena to get into the playoff rounds, where they went through 3-2 on aggregate against Red Bull Salzburg. So Celtic, for the second year in a row, have made the Champions League group stages. And in the first game, Zenit at home, beat them 2-0. So that's a good start, picking up the 3 points in the Champions League. Goals for Shevchenko and Lee Griffiths. Second, oh man, they've got Barcelona. They've been shafted, man. Barcelona again. You fucking kidding me? 3-0 at the Nou Camp. Goals for Rakitic, Busquets, and Paco Alcacer. Next game was, they're into the Betfred Cup final again. This time beating Hibs 2-0. Also beat Dynamo Kiev at home 2-0 in the Champions League group stage. So again, they're in the same situation. They've got 6 points from their first 3 games, and it's looking like they're going to go through again. So maybe I was wrong to doubt them. Okay, now they could be in trouble. They've lost 1-0 away to Dynamo Kiev, so 2 games remaining. They are on 6 points. It's going to be touch and go whether they get through now. Be interesting to see what the last 2 results are. Oh, they beat Zenit away. That is crazy. They beat Zenit away, so now they're on 9 points with a home tie against Barcelona to go. They may need to get something out of that game against Barcelona if they're going to ensure that they get into the knockout stages. They beat Rangers again, so Celtic have won the Betfred Cup final again. I said there's no way they're going to complete the treble. There's no way they're going to get as far as they did in Europe. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm talking shit. And a draw at Celtic Park against Barca 0-0. I think that's 10 points. I think that will be enough to get Celtic through. We'll find out. But already they've won the Betfred Cup. We know they've won the league. Scottish 4th round. They're into the 5th round of the Scottish Cup. Yes, they are. They did. They got through. Holy fuck. They got into the Champions League last 6 and they beat Man United. Fucking Man United, man. Jose Mourinho must be going mental. Jackie Wilshere, Jackie boy, getting the goal in the 60th minute, and then Eugenio Mena making it 2. Can Celtic hold out then at Old Trafford? It'll be interesting to see how they get on here. Let's check them out. They lost in the Scottish Cup quarter-final. Finally, Rangers actually beat them. I think Celtic had beaten Rangers in every cup competition up till now. And then, obviously, Rangers, the record in cup competitions against Celtic was 3-0, but finally, they've got revenge. They're knocking them out of the Scottish Cup quarter-final. Oh man, there you go, Celtic. That's unlucky. There's a 2-0 lead going into this match. Oh, look at that. Marcus Rashford in the 90th minute has fucked Celtic out the Champions League. Again, Celtic lose in the last 16 stage. But this time it was a 90th minute Rashford goal that sent them packing. That's unlucky, man. Very unlucky. They only took 3,781 away fans. But if they took more than that, maybe Man United didn't allocate them any more tickets. So there you go, they're out the same stage, out of the quarter final stage of the Scottish Cup. So not as good a season as the first one, but still won the Betfred Cup, won the league, got into the knockout stages of the Champions League. You cannot fault Brendan Rodgers for that. Let's see how he did in Season 3. And straight off the bat, Season 3, the first thing I noticed is they've sold a lot more than they've spent, so looks like it could be another tough season for Celtic. In terms of who they brought in Renato Tapia, 4.5 million from Feyenoord. Some guy from Millwall I've never heard of. Tomir Hepid from Brighton, 6 million. Jurgen Locadia, who's a good player on FIFA. I bought him a few seasons ago in my Celtic career mode. He's 3.8, and then Sebastian Perez, 3.4, and Sami Nasri on a free. Interesting. 19.5 million spent in total. Now, who did they sell? Calvin Miller. They let him go on a free to Partick Thistles. Very surprised about that. Kieran Tierney. Is that all? Kieran Tierney, 16.25 million. I thought they could have got more for him. He's went to Man United. Scott Brown went to Feyenoord. Strange sort of transfer. Would not have been expecting that. Musa Magera going to Dynamo Kiev. Mikael Lustig going to PSV. Nair Bitten also going to PSV. PSV here raiding all the Celtic talent. And everyone else left on a free or went out on loan. So, again, this could be a hard season for Celtic. But then again, I thought that last year and they did reasonably well. So, let's see how they do this time. Okay, so Celtic have won the league, but it was not a good season for them. Look at that, 77 points, 13 points less than they got last year. 26 points less than they got a year before. 2 years before, so they've lost 26 points in the space of 2 years, and that is mainly due to selling all their best players, you'd feel. Now look at Rangers finished 4th. Now Rangers last year got 83 points. If Rangers could have matched what they did last year, Rangers would have won the league. They'd have finished above Celtic, but they've obviously struggled as well. So Celtic winning the league, but you would not expect 77 points to get you the title. I mean, you definitely wouldn't expect that. So I think Celtic have been very lucky there, beating Hearts to the league title by 9 points. Based on that, I do not expect them to, do well in Europe, do well in the Cups, but we'll see here now. Alright, so first thing noticeable is, again, Celtic easily getting through into the well, they have no problem getting to the playoff stage, and then the playoff stage, they always seem to draw their first game and then win their second game. This time beating Red Bull Salzburg again, 3-1 on aggregate to qualify into the Champions League group stages. So first game, they lost at home to Chelsea, and that's not a good start. Normally Celtic have won their home games in the previous few seasons, and that's why they've managed to get into the knockout stages, but losing their first home game here against Chelsea, not a good start at all. Also got knocked out at home in the Betfred Cup quarter-final against Hamilton. Goals for Greg Docherty and Gary Oliver, sending Celtic home. So looks like this is going to be a poor season for them indeed. Olympiacos, they drew away from home in the Champions League, and then at home again they've lost to Bayern Munich. So 2 home games, they've lost both of them. Only managed a point in Greece. There's no way Celtic's getting out of this one. Looks like 3rd at best this time around. They've lost in Germany to Bayern Munich again. What I will say is, they've lost to Bayern Munich and Chelsea. Lost all 3 games, but just by 1 goal. So, it's not like they've been smashed. It's just, I guess you could argue they've been unlucky. They've been unlucky. Right. How else have they... Oh my god, they've lost in Chelsea. Again, 1-0. They've lost in London 1-0 to Chelsea. So that's... They've lost each of their games against Chelsea and Bayern Munich, home and away, but all the games were 1-0, so, you've got to feel a bit of sympathy for them here. Now, they're basically going into their last game, probably needing a win to have any chance of progressing, and they did beat Olympiacos at home. Will that be enough to get them into Europa League? We'll find out. Into they did, so right, they beat Aberdeen to get into the Scottish Cup quarter-final. They must have finished 3rd in their group, because they got into Europa League knockouts stage, and they lost at home 3-1 to Tottenham. So their home form, man, is letting them down. Past few seasons, their home form was, keeping them in it. They got a win against Man United in the last 16, a draw against PSG at home in the last 16, but this time their home form is just not helping them out, and then they lost the away leg as well. So it's Tottenham then putting Celtic out their misery and sending them home again in the first round of the knockout stage, this time in the Europa. And the Scottish Cup beat Partick Thistle in the semi-final. Then lost the final to Hibernian 3-1, goals for Mata Lutfic getting a brace, and John McGinn getting the 3rd goal for Hibernian. They gave them a nice 3-1 win. So, how would you compare this season? Didn't win any cups, didn't get into the Champions League. It's definitely and their lowest tally in the league by far, 77 points. Definitely the worst season so far for Celtic. They look like a team that's on the slide rather than a team that is on the rise. It'll be interesting to see just how much further they slide down next year. If they slide any further in the league, then I'm pretty sure they won't win it, because you'll need more than 77 points. Let's find out how they got on. Okay, so unlike the last 2 seasons where they were, selling more than they bought, this time it's the opposite. They bought in 13.25 million worth of players and sold off only 4.4. Some of the noticeable players they brought in were Nikolai Hotobek from... I don't have a fucking clue who that is. He cost 6 million. They brought in John McGinn, the guy that scored the winner against them in the Scottish Cup. 6.5 million for Hibernian. I'm not surprised with that. That does seem like such a Celtic transfer. That's probably to replace Scott Brown. And then also Nemanja Madic on a free transfer, which is a very good signing for them. They let Jake Aitchison go on a free. A bunch of players out here on loan. Renato Tabaya, 3 million. Samir Nasri left as well. Robin Olsen went for 435k. So, I don't know, it looks like they've strengthened their squad based on last year. It probably will help them in the league. Will it help them in Europe? Let's find out. And there you go, Celtic returning this time with a better season in the league. 89 points, winning the league for the 4th time in a row in this series. Rangers finishing second, this time after finishing 4th last year. Obviously they've upped their game, and I was right. I did say 77 points wouldn't be enough to get Celtic the league title again. And if they'd have got 77 points at this season, Rangers would be champions. But they didn't, they got 89. And Celtic now have did 4 in a row. And I believe, would that be 10 in a row? Would that be the total? I think it would be. So I think that's Celtic this year completing 10 in a row. Fair play to them. And, I mean, at this rate, they could probably win as many as they want in a row. But the main thing, I think, on Celtic players' minds, Celtic fans' minds, is Europe. Let's see how they got on this year. Now, the first thing I noticed is Celtic are entering straight in the playoff round. So, like I said, the coefficient has definitely went up, definitely improved, and it has helped them massively. They don't have to play any of the wee diddy teams, just go straight into the playoff round. And again, they got Red Bull Salzburg, and again, they beat them this time a lot more comfortably, 5-0 on aggregate. But we can see some bad news already. First game in the Champions League against Rubin Kazan, they lost 1-0 in Ukraine. Second game at home against Sofia, they've lost 1-0 again, so I mean, there you go, no points at the first 2 games, and it's looking like Celtic are definitely not going to be in the last 16 in the Champions League. For the second season in a row, yeah, they just lost to Porto at home, this time again 2-1, so there you go, no points at the first 3. It's not looking good here, is it? Finally, they got a draw against Porto, but I don't think that's going to be enough. A draw against Rubin Kazan at home, they've got 5 points. 2 points, 1 game to go. They won the Betfred Cup final against Hearts, I guess that's something. And a draw against Sofia in the last 6 in the group, so that's not going to get them into this group stage, is it? No. Let's see here. Well, there you go, there is the finishing table. Celtic finishing on 3 points, Rubin Kazan 4, FC Porto 11, and Sofia 14. So Celtic, for the first time since this series has begun, will not be in Europe after Christmas, and that's pretty poor. Definitely considering they strengthened the squad this season, so I actually thought they would have did better, but nah, they didn't. At least they won the Betfred Cup, though, that's something. Into the Scottish Cup semi-final, and they've lost that on penalties to Dunfermline, so that's a terrible season, isn't it, when you think about it? Out of the cups, didn't make a final. Didn't make European football after Christmas, and so all they've got is a league title. I guess a league title's better than nothing, but fuck me. Celtic, they're definitely not having a good season, so it looks like their second season is by far still the best. But we'll see how they got on in the 5th and final season. Can they finally better themselves in the Champions League and get past that last 16 stage? Again, look at that, 32 million sold, only 17.5 brought in. Yeah, man, doesn't look like this is going to be the season that Celtic were looking for. Although some of the players they've brought in do look good. They brought in Marco Pajic from Juventus on loan. You've got Danny Welbeck on a free. I wouldn't even take him on a free. He's fucking shite, man. But they've got him. Victor Wanyama rejoins the club on a free. Brendan Galloway joins for Hibs for 5 million. And Nikolai Jorgensen joins for Feyenoord for 5.7 million. So Celtic bringing in some decent signings, but it will probably depend on who they've let go. So they've let go Martin Linz. Nikolai Hotobeks went to Atletico Madrid for 15 mil. John Souters went to America for 2.4. John McGinn. Really? John McGinn's left? They just paid 5 million and have let him go to Celtic Vigo the next season. Fucking crazy. Oliver Ncham has went to Wolfsburg. Scott Sinclair's went to Cruz Azul. Gustavo Gomez has left. Jurgen Locati has left. Oh, that's terrible, man. Who's managing these Celtic? That's fucking terrible. These transfers. I mean, the first few seasons when they let go of their big players, at least they were getting good money. I mean, they paid more for John McGinn here. They paid more for Jurgen Locati than they're actually getting back for him. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand that. John Souttar, man. John Souttar and John McGinn, they paid a shitload more for those players than they've sold them for. And it's not like they're old now. It's not like they're past their... You know what I mean? They're still fucking arguably... They'd be still in their prime, like, you know what I mean? So they've improved as players. The value should have went up. Unbelievable stuff there. So Celtic board not doing well with the transfers. Let's see how they did on the pitch. In the 5th and final season, can Brendan Rodgers improve? So a similar season to last year in the league. Celtic win it again, this time on 87 points. Rangers, though, 82 points behind them. This is the closest Rangers have been since the series began, or the closest any team has been, should I say. Only 5 points behind between Celtic and the second place team. So are Celtic loosening their grip on the Scottish Premiership? They could be. They could be. We won't know anymore until we go into the 10 years in the future, which I will be doing after we cover the majority of Scottish teams. But as for now, it is safe to say Celtic are champions of Scotland. Let's see how else they did though in the Cups and European football. Alright, so the first thing I noticed this season is Celtic didn't even need to qualify for the Champions League. Straight in at the group stage, and they lost 2-0 at home to AC Milan. Not a good start in their European campaign. They did then got a draw in Russia against CSK Moscow, which I guess is a decent result, and they backed that up with a 2-0 win at Malmo, against Malmo at Celtic Park. So that takes them into 4 points with 3 games played. I guess they've got a chance advancing, but they're going to need to pick up wins in the last 3 games. They lost to Rangers in the Betfred Cup semi-final, lost on penalties, man. That must suck for them. So that's going to be another cup not making the final. Brendan Rodgers' record in these cups aren't the best. First season he did well, he won the treble, but I mean since then his record, I guess, has been pretty poor, you could say. What else for the Celtic? Draw away against Malmo. And I think that pretty much confirms they will not be advancing out this group. A loss against AC Milan. And then a draw at home against CSK Moscow. Let's see how they did here. So Celtic finished 3rd. They won't be getting into the Champions League last 16, but they will be in the Europa League. So maybe they can do something in that. Maybe that will actually work out better for them. Betfred Cup semi-final, they lost to Rangers, as we said, on penalties. Fucking shocking. Well, not shocking, but Scottish Cup 4th round, Wick Academy. I mean, you'd like to think you'd beat them. And then they lost to Hamilton in the 5th round in the Scottish Cup. So, like I said, Brendan Rodgers not doing that well in the Cups. Oh my god, what are Barcelona doing there? Fucking hell. Barcelona in the Europa League. They got them in the last 16. They got pumped 5-0 in aggregate. How the fuck did that happen? I don't get it. Let's check how Barcelona made it to the last... let's see how Barcelona got... Where are we? No, not Group C. I want to see how Barcelona didn't qualify, because that's... Obviously, 2 teams must have finished above them. So what group were Barca? Oh, well, I mean, that's a very tough group, man. I feel really bad for Fenerbahce. Look at that. They got absolutely raped in that group, man. 6 losses. Only 1 goal, man. 13 against. Shocking, but there you go. That's why Barcelona got Celtic in the Europa League. And obviously they humped them 5-0. So Celtic then out of European football again in the last 16. And they finished off the league pretty strong after that. Look at that. Once they lost to Barcelona in February, they didn't lose another single game until the end of the season, dropping only 4 points, and that was with 2 draws to Hibernian. So there you go, guys. Overall, I mean, Celtic, probably, I'd say, over the 5 years, I'd say it's been successful. They've won the league every year. They did the treble in the first season. I think they added another 2 cups after that. And then in 4 of the 5 seasons, they got into the last 16 in Europe, twice Champions League, twice the Europa League, and then obviously that 1 year they finished 4th. All in all, though, I'd say it's a successful season, successful 5 years for Celtic. How will they do in the next 5 years, guys? I don't know. We'll find out when I do the 10 years into the future series. But as for now, that's it. Let me know what team you'd like to see me do next. I'm thinking about maybe doing Aberdeen, Hearts, Hibs, maybe, I don't know, maybe a lesser team, like a Dundee United, see how they do. See if they can get themselves promoted back to the big leagues. But anyway, guys, until then, this has been 5 years into the future of Scottish football with Celtic. Until next time, peace.